Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Second Act Actors. I'm your host, Dr. Janet McMorty, and I'm still a medical doctor simultaneously trying to pursue a career in acting. My guest this week is Alicia Ryan. Alicia was and still is a teacher, but now she's switched to just supply teaching turned actor. She has an incredible story to tell about going to teachers college, realizing that there's so much more that goes into teaching than just, the performative aspect and shaping children's lives. There's all the behind the scenes stuff that goes into it. And she honestly wasn't a fan. And oh my gosh, I related to this with my journey through medical school. Oh, there's so much more that goes into being a doctor than just helping patients. And to be honest, a lot of it I'm not a huge fan of either. There's a lot of paperwork. We also have a really great conversation about finding yourself in this industry, finding a sense of self, and learning about who you are, especially as women in this industry, and especially as women over a certain age, as we age in and around this complicated industry that, it is improving, but to be honest, still has a ways to go in, inclusivity regarding women of a certain age and roles for us women as we get older. We have a lovely, pretty intense conversation about that. Please enjoy the beautiful and talented new mom, congratulations lady, Alicia Ryan. How did you get into this acting, entertainment industry business?
Well, oh my gosh. I feel like it could be a very long story, and I'm not good at telling short stories that well on the fly. But long story short, like a lot of us thespians, I was one who came out of the womb ready to just put on shows for anybody that cared to to watch and listen to me. But I wasn't really in your face you must watch me now. But I just loved dancing and singing and performing, and I just loved when people cared to watch and listen. I just loved their reactions and how they just seemed to really enjoy what I had to offer. And so that started very young, and that just never stopped. Literally, I don't remember my life without loving to perform. And so it's definitely been with me this whole entire life thus far. And my parents, thankfully, they got me, they really cultivated those gifts and interests. So I was in figure skating and dance, and got me into choirs and singing lessons and piano lessons and all the things. I was very, very blessed that way, and got very involved with what the school could offer. So I was just doing it all the time, and just never really I just always wanted to make this what I did for the rest of my life, and ideally get paid for it, because if other people can do it, why can't I? So yeah, I guess that's the story in a nutshell.
Did you go to theater school? What happened after high school? Did you train in the creative arts?
So as I was saying, I always knew I wanted to make it a career, but I was okay, I need to do this somehow, but I also wanted to be wise about making sure I'd have a stable job that I could rely on as well, and or if I changed my mind down the road, I'd already have kind of something great to fall back on, so to speak, right? And so I decided to go to Waterloo and go to Laurier for voice, for singing specific. I focused on that in English. I almost came to Toronto to do like musical theater program um, at one of the great schools here, but I wasn't ready to come to Toronto then. And getting the degree and like kind of the teaching um, background, because it was kind of focused on music education, my bachelor degree. My parents were very supportive of that. They were supportive of whatever I chose to do, but I could tell they really liked that option. And I did it, and like I just fell in love with Laurier when I visited it. So it just seemed like the best next step for me. And then I went to teachers college right afterwards because, that's the next step in like getting that safety job. And I did enjoy teaching. Like I taught figure skating and swimming lessons growing up, and it was just kind of a natural skill as well for me. And yeah, another great job. And I had a lot of wonderful teachers in my life um, growing up. And so I'm like, sure, I'll go to teachers college and just kind of take it step by step and see where I end up. So during teachers college, I decided I really don't think that like making that my like main career and like letting performance work get very background is in the cards for me. It was very clarifying going to teachers college and seeing what it's really like these days, like, because it was different than being a student in high school, right? And as much as I enjoyed working with kids and being in that place, I just didn't feel like that was what I wanted to pour a lot of my energy and time into, and let the other dreams, so to speak, be put on the back burner. So then I just decided to like supply teach essentially from there. I'm just like, that's a great gig. And it lets me really focus on what I really want to be doing and lets me have flexibility over my schedule and still lets me like work with young people and teach and connect with them and support them as much as I can. And that just seemed to be the best fit for me for my life and what I wanted to do. So when you were like, I'm just like, teaching was always like my backup plan. Like it was never my first focus or passion. So yeah, it's always kind of been my like guaranteed income job that I enjoy. And yeah, so that's basically it. Yeah.
So, was there a time in teachers college that was that kind of light bulb, like, ooh, I don't think I want to put so much energy into this anymore? Like, what was it that you noticed? I know you mentioned it wasn't, you're like, oh, this isn't quite what I was expecting, but was there something that kind of triggered?
Yeah. I wish I had that like one moment in time that I can totally go back to. I mean, going into it, I never was like, I can't wait to make this my full-time job. Like, I never was really sold on just focusing on that, like, full-time contract. I think it's just seeing, like, basically, the hardest part of the job is what you don't see as a student. Like, in my opinion, it's all the stuff that I don't want to do. Like, I want to be there face to face connecting with people, and like more like the social aspect of school is my favorite part. And like I get to do that as a supply teacher. But like I don't want to deal with big like behavior problem. Like I don't know, I just don't want to, obviously you have to deal like with that as a supply teacher, but like I just don't want to like make that to like my focus where you're like, okay, you got to follow up with everything and follow up with the parents and like be in communication with everybody all the time and like the people above you and marking and like really like planning lessons was never something I really was excited about. I like to like when I show up for supply teaching, it's basically like you're given a script. It's a cold read. You're going to an improv class every day. I'm like, I can just execute and facilitate, and I'm happy doing that as best I can without having to like think about it all in the evenings when I'm not working. But they're working hard behind the scenes. I just didn't want to do that. And So I guess until I got to teachers college, I didn't really see what the job all entailed. But I remember calling my dad up and being like bawling. I'm just like, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my next 30 years full time. And I'm just like, that's okay. Like, you'll figure it out. But I'm glad I got my degree, and it has really worked out well for me. Like, I always count my blessings that I did go that route. I mean, I'm sure if I did something else, I would end up happy as well. But this worked out really well for me. So, yeah, it works well.
I connect with what you just said so much.
Yeah?
About the social aspect of a career and the behind the scenes being a bit of a shock. Yeah. That, for me, in my career in medicine, is something that was so eye-opening for me. And
yeah,
like, I remember talking to a couple girlfriends of mine who are in medicine as well, and all of us said, man, if only we just got to practice medicine and see patients, I would love it. But it's the behind-the-scenes garbage that nobody tells you about, paperwork, systems navigation, right? The parents, right? Stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go, oh, no, nobody told me about this when I was in high school and I decided to be a doctor. Ah! Oh, my God. Yeah,
like, you just see what we knew as the patient or the student, right? Like, yeah, it's very interesting when you're finally in that other role, and you really get to experience it firsthand.
And I'm sure there's lots of there's people who love that stuff, and I'm really glad that they do.
But that's what makes the world go round, right? Like,
I just saw a funny cartoon. Do you remember the cartoon Daria?
I know the name.
With the big glasses, very cynical.
Yes, I can picture it, but I didn't watch it. I don't know it well. It triggered in my head this funny thing that just popped up just this week on like social media or whatever. It's this Daria quote, and she was saying, she's like, man, I really hope I don't wind up like in my 40s and angry and bitter about the career that I chose when I was 16. And like, how many of us kind of have to get pigeonholed into like, you need to pick what you want to do now when you're a teenager, and all you see about careers on career day is like the nice, happy social part of it. Yeah. Oh, I hear ya. I mean, I like the whole take your kids to work day kind of thing, but like, I feel like there should be more immersion of that kind of stuff, because I'm sure like one day is not quite enough in my opinion, but yeah, like more like co-op kind of stuff. That's helpful, I think, for kids.
I totally agree.
And like so many students, I was at a grade 12 graduation the other day, and a lot of them are taking gap years, and I'm just like, good for you. Because there's no rush, and like, just go and do some soul searching and find out what you really want to do. Maybe travel a bit, because you can now, and like, you'll figure it out, because you're super young and you have the rest of your life to like. I was lucky that I always knew one thing I really wanted to do, and like nothing else really mattered. Like, but not everybody has that. Like, they don't always know that early, and that's okay. But no rush, really.
And I think, and you had mentioned it already, that things can shift, things can change. And I mean, that's been obviously a big realization of my own, but like the whole nexus for this podcast, right? Like, of course I'm not going to be the same person as I was when I was 16, 17, 18 trying to choose a career. Thank God, right? Oh my God, what a disaster I was. For a good reason. We all should be, right? It's the time of your life when you're supposed to be a bit chaotic. But yeah, it's very interesting. And I remember having this conversation with my dad when I was younger, and being kind of surprised when he was like, you know, your career might change in your life. I'm like, no, Dad, I'm going to be a doctor and a doctor forever. He's like, it can change, you know. And me like, really?
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Good for him.
I know, right? What does does life look like for you now? Like, how are you navigating your careers, plural, that you're up to?
Careers.
Gross.
Well, hi, hi, hi. Well, we are coming to an end of the 2001-2002 school year, as you know. So, I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday booked, and then I will be off for the summer. But I am actually going to try and find something work-wise just to make some guaranteed income for the summer. But I've been doing this for so long, the supply teaching thing in Toronto since 2020. No, today's 2022. 2010. Sorry, I moved here. And so I've made some real, I know a lot of teachers and a lot of people have my cell phone numbers. Like we're well connected. And so I have work all the time, and there's not enough supply teachers for the amount of work that there is. And so I'm always working, and they book me. And if I have something like a Zoom audition that I can't swing the teaching day, or maybe I can do a half day or whatever, um, then I let them know and we cancel it and they find somebody else. They figure it out, and everybody's very understanding, thankfully, of my situation. But it works out really well. It's just really being in good communication so that they know I'm coming or I cannot last minute or whatever. But it works really well. But obviously, thankfully, self tapes are taking up most of my auditions at least. So I just do those in my evenings. I was literally up until 1:30 last night doing one. I also had a friend over helping me. I hadn't seen in a while, so we were like taking our sweet time. But yeah, so I do lots of self tapes in the evenings and weekends, and it all works out. But that is the beauty of supply teaching, is I have complete control of when I am working and when I'm not, because there's abundance of work, and when I need to take the time off, I can do that no problem. So, or travel or anything. Like, I mean, you don't get paid if you're not there, so, but you know, it works out well because if I'm usually taking time off, it's because I've got a performance job that
Mhm.
is exciting and also paying me, so it's good. Yeah,
Is
does
there
that
anything?
answer the
Hmm?
question? I think so. I think that answers
Absolutely,
the
it does.
question. Okay.
Oh yeah. Do you still teach voice and figure skating and stuff like that? That's still part of your life?
Um, no, I stopped figure skating and swimming lessons years ago. I could recert them, I guess, if I decided to get back into that. But no, I did a little bit of private music lessons and stuff years ago as well. And I just really don't have, I mean, I could do it this summer, but I don't know. I'm so busy with the supply teaching. Like, and before the pandemic, I was also working at a restaurant a few shifts a week with acting. Like, I was flying all over the place all the time. So now I'm down to the two things. And I could always do private coaching or whatever if I chose to, but I haven't got to there yet since I moved to Toronto. But I have done a couple one-offs for people, more so just volunteer to help them prepare for auditions. Like people I know have kids that are trying to get into the industry, so I Zoom with them sometimes and help them out, but nothing like formal.
Yeah. Is there
Yeah.
anything that you've noticed you've been able to pull from your career in teaching now into your acting career?
I really think it all kind of just comes down to connecting with people and really listening and communicating with students and people of all walks of life and all ages. And I mean, if you're a good communicator and a good listener, I feel like that goes a long way in life and definitely in the acting industry, as you know. And so I don't know, and I'm very observant. Like I'm a people watcher, and I just like love learning about the human condition and like how what makes people tick and like just I just love learning about people and psychology and everything. And so I find that being in different kind of situations all the time with different people, you learn a lot about humanity. And I don't know, I just think it's really interesting. And of course, it's only going to help when it comes to creating characters and telling stories, right? So other than that, that's definitely the main thing. Um, and and performing, like I said earlier, kind of, it's like you are up in front of a crowd every day, oftentimes people you've never met before, not always, but and you're there to like keep them engaged and like and connect with them and help them progress in some way in their life, right? So that's pretty relative.
Yeah,
Right?
I've talked to a couple other teachers and actors, or teachers turned actors, and that's a main kind of vein they talk about is, they were performative as children, and the stable
Mm-hmm.
career they went into was teaching, which is very performative, right? And I love what you
Yeah.
said about supply teaching. It's just a cold read, it's improv. You're just there, all right, let's do it.
Yeah. Pretend that well, I mean, yeah, it's totally improv and
Yeah.
you are just pretending you really know what is on the page. I mean, I'm pretty transparent. I'm like, guys, I swear I learned this 20 years ago, but I kind of forget it. So, thankfully, I'm very resourceful. But they appreciate the honesty. So,
I
yeah,
bet. Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. They teach me a lot.
Oh.
It's kind of nice going back to high school and relearning a lot of things that I either didn't learn or forgot since I was there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that would be. I never really thought about that,
Hmm.
but that would be kind of
Right?
fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really fun being with the drama students because obviously I thrive in that area and it's just really fun to help them with monologues or whatever scenes they're working on. And yeah. And I've been doing a lot of alternative classrooms. Well, since I moved to Toronto, there's so much to offer students in the city, which is great. And since the pandemic, I started supplying at KMH and like sick kids and like really small classrooms. And I just absolutely love it. Yeah. So it's great variety in this city for sure.
Wow, that's so
Hmm.
interesting. That must be really. Yeah, wow, that's really cool. Really cool. Really
Yeah,
special. It's neat.
it is. Like, yeah, you don't get that everywhere.
No, not at all.
So,
Hmm.
hmm.
Do you have any advice for anyone who's interested in, changing careers to get into acting, or just in general, like in getting into the entertainment industry, or trying to be a bit more creative with their life, or more performative with their life?
Formative. Um, well, I say like if you have that desire, like why not? Why not try? Like just make it work. Everybody's got different life situations, but like maybe you can't leave your current job right away, but like people like start taking classes in the evening or kind of just like do baby steps to like get more creative, kind of be outside of what their norm is and learn more about this industry you're so curious about and hone those skills and foster those skills and like see where it takes them. That's what I'd say. But like definitely don't ignore those feelings because that's crucial. Like I feel like any desire people have to really do something that's like they've got this passion for. I don't know why you would not do it. Like that's why we're here, in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you have
So
any? This is a bit of a loaded question. A
yeah.
lot of times I know. I'm not going to speak for other people. I'll speak for myself. Say, there is a fear of, like you were saying, like leaving the job that provides you with stability because
Mm-hmm.
it's like an unknown unpredictability. Even though
Mm-hmm.
there is that kind of creative flame that's there that you don't want to ignore. Do you
Mm-hmm.
have any advice for that?
Well, I've heard of a lot of people that have like decided that they want a career change or to try something else. Great. Like, you don't need to stick with one thing forever, like we said. And like, they save, they pull back in some places and save more money up so that they can be okay to float for a little bit between that career and something else. Like, if you really want to do something, I feel like there's always a way to make it work. But and if I don't know, just don't have the fear. No, have the fear, but do it anyway. You will thank yourself. Your future self will definitely thank you because I don't know, man. Like every day is like Saturday to me. Like, yeah, it's Friday, but like I love every day of my life. So, and like I feel like if you can try to do that, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many ways to like, or like, I mean, there's a lot of like entrepreneurial things people are doing now. Like, there's just this, I feel like so much more opportunity at this time
Mm.
to really have that joy in your life, but also pay the bills. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's ways. There's ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So get some good books and make it happen. Listen to some good podcasts. There's
That's
lots
right.
of great ones
Yeah.
out there. Yeah.
I think that's, it's such a good advice, right? And we hear it a lot, even though it's hard to like, you can never hear it enough, right? Like,
I know.
just do it. Like, if you
Just do
fail, like,
it.
who cares? You can go back
Yeah.
to supply teach, and like that's where I
Yeah.
think there is I do like the like stability part, the stability foundation, because
Yeah.
I don't think I could jump off the cliff without a parachute. That's just me, right? That's just who I am. I'm
Yeah,
not
and
gonna
some
change.
people can, and they
Yeah.
make it work. And that's great if you
Mhm.
can do that. But
Yeah.
fortunately, especially in this city, I just can't. I wouldn't be able to sleep I sleep very well at night, and I don't want to change that. I don't know. I just wanna know that I can like pay the bills, have the flexibility to like really live the life that I want to live. I don't know. It's hard sometimes, but there's ways that you can make it work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to get creative. Get creative that way.
Get creative about your creativity. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any memorable or funny on-set stories from your time acting?
Ooh, lots of memorable ones. I was thinking that earlier. I'm like, I've had nothing but great experiences with like, and I'm still non-union currently, but that might be changing soon. But hopefully. Um, but yeah, like, because I mean, with non-union, there's no real rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I've had such great experiences. Like, I, yeah, I could go on about this community and the people in it, but I got to go to Ecuador once for this wonderful National Geographic docudrama where I played Diane Fossey, and we were living in the jungle for a week in this beautiful eco lodge and filming, but like it was just one of the most amazing experiences of my life and a great crew. And yeah, I didn't get to hang out with any mountain gorillas, unfortunately, because that was all done prior to when I was involved. But that was definitely the most special experience I've had so far on set. Yeah, got to travel to a wonderful destination and just a really cool project to be a part of
Yeah.
for sure. And like one funny little story, funny to me at least, and the people that were there, but I had to drive in a movie that I was in, and I was told, yeah, no problem, we'll have an automatic car there for you. And I didn't have to drive far, but there was no automatic car. They couldn't get one. So I had to learn right there in the moment how to drive a standard. Not far, thankfully, but like talk about pressure because I've never driven a standard before. I never really had the desire to because it just seems too complicated, really, for me. But I did it. They talked me through it. They were wonderful. And we got what we needed, but it was pretty funny to be like, all right, and now you're gonna learn how to drive a standard. Yeah, to me that was a little wacky, but
Yeah,
fun. It was funny. We laughed and it all worked out. So,
that's good.
what was I gonna say? Yeah. Anyways, I'm like I could never be a stunt driver. Like I will never be learning. I don't think I will ever do stick like proper driving. Like 6 feet was enough for me. Call me
Has there
crazy, but
has there been anything that has surprised you about the entertainment industry?
ooh, surprised me. Um, hmm. Well, I mean, of course, it's always like had the more, I guess, negative uh, connotation on it for like the whole like with the whole thing about like you have to look a certain way, you have to act a certain way. It's just like there's so many like um standards people have, like beauty standards and size standards and all that stuff, which
Mm-hmm.
of course we have it exists. And when it's always has and probably always will be. But like I don't know. I think we've come a long way during the time that I've even been here in the industry. I think things are definitely improving in that regard, and I think that's wonderful. Maybe that's not surprising, but what I was going to try to get at here is that I feel like maybe not just actors, but like we really have to like I feel like especially personally I have come a long way with my like sense of like just owning who I am and not really caring what the industry feels about my looks or my height or my skin. You know, it's just you have to like really have a strong sense of self in life, but especially in this industry. And I feel like I have done a lot of self growth and personal development through being in this industry and having so many things kind of working against you in that regard. And like I know a lot of my friends, a lot of people I know, a lot of us have had a lot of growth in that aspect of life, and I think it's really awesome. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's all I can really think of right now. But it's really important, and yeah, because there's a lot of people that
Mm-hmm.
will tell you that you are not enough, but we all know, like we are, and like uh, anyway, it's I could go on forever, but I just think that we in this industry have really had
Mm-hmm.
to
And that's how.
do a lot of inner work to have a strong mind and like a healthy whole person to be resilient and to keep going.
It was a surprising thing for me as well too, and like I was saying, I felt kind of silly for being so surprised about it because you hear all the time in the media about, beauty standards in the industry, the sizeism in the industry, racism, sexism, all the isms, and how
Mm-hmm.
so much we've come so far, but there's also still like ingrained all
From
of those
years.
isms from
Yeah.
years, right? And
Uh-huh.
I think for people to survive, and I mean, the atrophy rate, retiring, rate for actors saying, I don't want to do this anymore, is massive. And
Mm-hmm.
because of we get rejected all day, every day, for
Yep.
usually not our talent. It's usually just something as simple as like, I don't think her face fits. Her
Yeah.
hair's not the right color. She reminds me
Yeah.
of my ex-wife, right? Like silly stuff like that.
Yeah.
that is
She's
actually
too
not,
pretty.
she's too pretty, right? She doesn't look old enough. She looks too old. Her hair's too long. And you're like, all these things
I know. It can
are,
really
it can mess with you
mess with
because
your
it's
mind.
very
Yeah.
personal. It's very personal. So yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
the only way that we can survive in this industry is by doing the inner work and realizing that that's not who we are and what our value is to the rest of the world. But
Exactly.
I know for a fact if I had tried to be an actor when I was 16, 17, 18, 20, all the way up till 33, I would not have survived, just because I had not had the life experience and the inner work, the therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
also that the realization of that only comes with life experience and time of like, this is who I am, this is my face, this
Yeah.
is what I look like. If you don't like it, then fine.
I'll
Doesn't
wait
mean
for the
anything.
next job that
Exactly.
is right for me, right? Like, yeah.
Exactly. It's hard though.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. It is. But it does get easier, I think, when you get older and you have more life experience and you finally come to those terms. Like,
Yeah,
it's a lot easier now than it was even 5 years ago for me. So,
totally. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
Interesting.
tough. And it's funny, I was chatting with it's actually my first agent that I had when I got my first agent, and I was very
Yeah.
surprised that she wanted to sign me. This was like 2 years ago. I have a new agent now, both fabulous, fabulous
Mm-hmm.
people. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
being surprised because I was like, oh, wow, I am a white female in my late 30s. There are many of us. And like carbon copies in the industry. I was
Mm-hmm.
surprised. I was like, I'm surprised you wanted to sign me because I think there's many of us out there. She's like, there are, but I'm thinking long term. And once you
Mm-hmm.
cross over 40, the number of people in your category just goes that, because
Yeah.
of this exact reason. People are tired. People are just disgruntled.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Disgruntled. Yeah.
right? And I'm like, I don't blame them.
Get
It's
burned out
you
from
get burned out.
the hustle. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're either you're in or you're out. Around that age is you're right. I think that's like probably around the drop off point. Like the majority of people probably make their choice at
Mhm.
around that time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm sticking around.
Sticking
I'm like, you know
around.
what? I made the choice, and it's because I read this oh, and I'm blanking. Oh, Elizabeth Gilbert. I don't know if
Yep.
she wrote Eat Pray Love. Have you read her book Big Magic?
Yes. Not yet,
Oh,
but it's on the list. I like to Eat, Pray, Love, and I've heard great
yeah.
things about Big Magic. Yeah.
It's wonderful. It just basically sums up exactly what we've been talking about, right? Like, she wrote Eat Pray Love and then was like, oh my
Hmm.
god, what happens now? I the pressure was on, right, to like create something equally if not more amazing. And she was just like, oh, this is really hard. But then it was the realization of, no, you just need to create stuff. You just need to be in this industry and say to yourself, for her writing, but for us acting, like, I'm gonna do this acting thing until I die. Some days it's gonna suck. Some days I'm gonna be great at it. Maybe no one will ever see me be an actor, but I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna commit to it. And she calls it like marrying your craft through sickness and in health. Just marry it.
Yeah.
Just get married to it, and just you're with it forever. Too bad.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I didn't realize she was an actor.
No, no, sorry, she's not.
Oh,
For her it was
it's the
writing, right? But
philosophy.
just like it was like for
Yes, got you.
anything
Yeah.
creative, right? Just be like, if you
Yes.
want to
Yeah.
do it, commit to it. And
Yeah.
even if like no one sees it or one person, who cares? You're gonna do it forever.
Yeah. Well,
Totally.
that's where I feel. Like, would I love to be in all these blockbuster movies that I watch? Of course I would. Like, of course we would. But like, if I don't get there, then that's okay too. Like, I just want to work as regularly as I can, doing what I love as often as I can, and doing work I like ideally that I feel is meaningful and like is is helpful for audiences. Like that is the goal, and where it takes me, it takes me. But like it's the joy of just doing. It's the little things, right? Like that add up to so much. And like like even sometimes when I get swamped with lots of commercial auditions in a day, I'm just like, ay. But then I'm just like, well, just look at it as an acting exercise, and like it's all great. It's all an opportunity, right? Sometimes you just have to have little pep talks to motivate yourself to get up and do it all. But I don't know. It's all beneficial. So yeah.
Is there anything you're looking forward to this year coming up?
This year coming up. Well, Jen Gardner.
Yes.
Actually, that's how I think I got connected with you, is through Jen. Yes. The lovely Jen and I have some projects planned for the summer and fall. So I'm really excited to work with her and the teams on them, a short and a feature. And other than that, I'm just excited for all the wonderful opportunities that will be coming my way that I don't know about yet. And that's the main things. But I should also mention, this might be the first time I say this publicly on social media, but dun dun dun, I'm having a baby this year. What? Yay!
Oh,
so
my
that's
gosh!
very exciting.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just like, should I say it on here? Why the heck not?
Why not? Why not? Yeah. Oh my God.
So that's happening. Thank you. At Christmas time, on Boxing Day.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's time.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that's huge. That's obviously taking over our minds a lot. But until then, I told my agents just the other day, I'm just like, I want to work as much as I can until they get here. And when they get here, as soon as we're in a flow and we're feeling good, I want to be like sent back out again. I'm taking a year of maternity leave, of course, from this fly teaching job. But yeah, I can't wait. And like, we'll hopefully get to do some auditions together.
Yes. All in the family.
Maybe even when I have a big belly. I just have a little one right now. But anyway, it's all very exciting.
That is so exciting. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Janet.
Do you have any final words of wisdom? No pressure. That's a very loaded question, I know. But any final words of wisdom?
Yeah. Well, what literally came to my head was just do the thing. So I was just, whatever is like that little kernel of excitement that people may have within them, I say just foster that and like do what you can to make it happen. Even if it's just little bits per day, like we know that sticking to something regularly is, and just putting some time and energy into it, maybe for small periods of time, but often will help you get that thing completed and doing it. And you're going to feel so happy and thankful that you did.
Thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you Alicia for being my guest this week. And once again, congratulations on the birth of your baby girl. She's so, so, so cute. And yes, more powerful women in this world, raising powerful women and female identifying individuals. I love it. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you'll tune in next week for another episode of Second Act Actors. Bye!